Everyone wondered why the Cowboy King married the woman whose family he hated. But nobody knew he married her for revenge. Part 1. Everyone in Red Creek wondered why the most feared cowboy in the territory had married the daughter of the man he hated most. They whispered that he wanted her father's land. Others believed he wanted her father's blood. But nobody knew the truth. The truth was that Cole Blackwood had married Clara Whitmore for revenge. And before winter came, he would have to decide whether revenge was worth losing the woman he had sworn never to love. The church doors opened beneath a pale autumn sky. Clara Whitmore stepped inside alone. Her white dress was simple, sewn from the best fabric her family could afford, and the small silver comb in her chestnut hair had belonged to her mother. She kept her eyes lowered as she walked toward the man waiting at the altar. Cole Blackwood did not smile. At 39, he was already a legend across the valley. Men twice his age lowered their voices when he entered a room. His ranch stretched farther than most people could ride in a day, and his black cattle filled the surrounding hills like a dark river. They called him the Cowboy King. But Clara knew almost nothing about him. Only that 6 months earlier, he had sent a proposal to her father. Her father had accepted, and now she was standing beside the most feared man in Red Creek, wondering why he had chosen her. Cole looked at her for several seconds. There was something cold in his dark eyes, something wounded, something Clara could not understand. The preacher began the ceremony. When he finally asked Cole if he would take Clara as his wife, the cowboy's answer came without hesitation. "I will." Clara swallowed. When her turn came, she whispered the same words. Neither of them knew that those two promises would change everything. Outside, the town watched the newly married couple ride away. No one noticed the way Cole's hand tightened around the reins. No one heard him whisper beneath his breath, "Your father took everything from me." Clara turned. "What did you say?" Cole looked forward. "Nothing." The ride to Blackwood Ranch took nearly an hour. The farther they traveled from town, the quieter Clara became. She had expected a grand house. Instead, Blackwood Ranch stood beneath a wide gray sky, surrounded by weathered fences, cattle pens, and endless golden grass bending beneath the autumn wind. Inside the house, Cole showed her the bedroom prepared for her. "You'll have everything you need." Clara looked at him. "Why did you marry me?" For the first time, his expression changed. Only slightly. "Because your father agreed." "That isn't an answer." Cole stepped closer. "My brother died 11 years ago." Clara's face softened. "I didn't know." "Of course you didn't." His voice was quiet, but there was anger underneath it. "He died on Whitmore land." Clara stared at him. "My father told me it was an accident." "It wasn't." Silence filled the room. Cole's eyes hardened. "Your father lied." Clara shook her head. "My father wouldn't." "He did." He turned toward the door. "Get some rest." "Cole." He stopped. "Do you hate me?" For several seconds he said nothing. Then he looked back at her. "I don't know yet." And he walked away. That night, Clara barely slept. Neither did Cole. And if you're enjoying this kind of slow-burn Western mystery, stay with us. What happened next would change everything Clara believed about the man she had just married. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you don't miss the rest of the story. Near midnight, Clara heard footsteps downstairs. She opened her door. The house was dark. Following the sound, she reached the study and saw Cole standing beside an old wooden desk. He was holding a small leather pouch. Clara froze. She recognized it immediately. It had belonged to her father. "What are you doing with that?" Cole turned sharply. For the first time since their wedding, Clara saw something other than anger in his eyes. Fear. He quickly closed his hand around the pouch. "Where did you get this?" she asked. Cole stared at her. "Your father left it behind the night my brother died." Clara stepped closer. "That can't be." "Why?" "Because my father never had it." Cole said nothing. Clara looked at the pouch again. There was a small brass clasp on its side. Her mother's initials were engraved into it. C.W. Clara's heart began pounding. She reached toward it. Cole caught her wrist. "Don't. That's my mother's." "I know." "Then why do you have it?" Cole slowly released her. Before he could answer, a gunshot exploded somewhere outside the ranch house. Both of them turned toward the window. Another shot followed. Then another. Cole grabbed his revolver. Clara stood frozen. Cole moved between her and the window. "Stay behind me." She stared at his back. "You said you married me for revenge." His jaw tightened. "I did." Another gunshot cracked through the darkness. Cole looked toward the door. Then he said the words Clara would remember for the rest of her life. "But whoever is out there," he drew his gun. "They're not here for your father." His eyes met hers. "They're here for you." The third gunshot shattered the silence. Clara flinched. Cole pulled her from the window. "Down." She obeyed. A bullet punched through the glass. Cole fired once toward the darkness. Cole fired once toward the darkness. Cole listened. "They're circling," he whispered. He extinguished the lantern. The study disappeared into darkness. Clara could hear only her own breathing as Cole moved toward the back door. "Stay here." "No. If someone is after me, I deserve to know why." Cole looked at her. "You deserve to live long enough to find out." Then he disappeared into the darkness. Minutes later, Cole returned carrying something. A black scarf. He dropped it onto the desk. There were 2 riders. "Did you see their faces?" "No." "Then how do you know they were after me?" Cole looked at the leather pouch. "Because they left this." He opened his palm. Inside was a small brass button. Clara stared at it. She recognized the symbol stamped into its center, the Whitmore Ranch brand. Her heart sank. "Someone is trying to make it look like my family sent them." "Exactly." Cole's expression hardened. "Which means whoever killed my brother may still be alive." Clara looked toward the window. "And they think I know something." Cole nodded. "But I don't." "I believe you." She looked at him sharply. "You believe me? I've been watching you since the proposal." "You watched me?" "I needed to know whether you were part of it." "And now?" "Now I think someone used both our families." For the first time, Clara saw the wounded man beneath the legend. But before she could ask another question, a horse screamed outside. Cole grabbed his gun again. They stepped onto the porch. A shadow moved near the barn. Cole raised his revolver. "Come out." Nothing. He advanced. A figure bolted from the barn. Cole fired into the dirt beside his feet. The stranger disappeared behind the cattle pens. Cole ran after him. Clara watched helplessly. Then she noticed something near the barn door. A folded piece of paper. She picked it up. 6 words were written across it. "Ask your mother what happened that night." Clara stopped breathing. Her mother had been dead for 14 years. She carried the note inside. When Cole returned, she held it out. His face changed as he read it. "Who knows about my mother?" "I don't know. You said my father killed your brother." "I believed he did. But this says otherwise." Cole looked at her. "And now I believe we've both been lied to. My mother used to tell me never to ask questions about the night your brother died." Cole's eyes narrowed. "What else did she say?" "Only that some truths were safer buried." Then Clara remembered the small wooden box her mother had hidden beneath the floorboards. "I know where we should look." Cole stepped closer. "Where?" "My father's old ranch." "You can't go there." "Why?" "Because whoever sent that note may already be waiting." Clara looked directly into his eyes. "Then I'm going." Cole studied her for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. "I'll take you." At dawn, they rode toward the abandoned Whitmore property. A rider watched from the ridge, then turned his horse south. By noon, Cole and Clara reached the old ranch. Inside, dust covered every table. Clara led Cole to her mother's bedroom and knelt beside the floorboards. One plank lifted easily. Beneath it was a wooden box. Cole crouched beside her. "Don't open it yet." Clara looked at him. "Why?" "Because whatever is inside is the reason someone tried to kill you last night." She opened the box anyway. Inside lay an old photograph, a blood-stained handkerchief, and a sealed letter. Cole picked up the photograph. His face went still. The photograph showed Cole's dead brother standing beside her mother. And between them stood a third man. Cole whispered his name. Elias Blackwood. Clara stared at him. "That's your father." Cole slowly turned toward her. "My father died 10 years before my brother." The man beside them was unmistakably Elias, but the date on the back was impossible. 11 years after his death. Then, from somewhere outside the house, came the slow sound of approaching footsteps. The footsteps stopped outside the house. Cole raised his revolver. Clara held the photograph against her chest. Then the door creaked open. A man stepped inside. He was gray-haired and carrying a Winchester rifle. Cole recognized him immediately. Elias Boone. The ranch hand lowered the rifle. "I came because you finally found it." Cole's eyes narrowed. "You knew about this?" Elias looked at Clara. "Your mother made me promise." Clara stepped forward. "Promise what?" "To keep you alive until the truth could find you." Cole's jaw tightened. "What truth?" Elias glanced at the photograph. "Your brother wasn't killed by Clara's father." Cole stared at him. "Say that again." "Thomas Whitmore tried to save your brother that night." Clara covered her mouth. Elias continued. "Your brother had discovered someone was stealing cattle from both ranches. He found records proving the thefts were being organized by a man neither family suspected." "Who?" Elias looked toward the window. "Your uncle." Cole went completely still. "My uncle died before that." "No," Elias said. "He disappeared." Clara looked at Cole. "Why would he kill your brother?" "Because your brother discovered he was planning to take Blackwood Ranch." Cole's hand tightened around the photograph. "And my father? He discovered the plan too." Elias reached into his coat and removed a second letter. "Your mother wrote this the night before she died." Cole took it. His hands trembled as he opened the envelope. The letter explained everything. 11 years earlier, Elias Blackwood had secretly arranged the theft of cattle from his son's ranch. When Cole's brother discovered the scheme, Elias confronted him. A struggle followed. Cole's brother was shot. Thomas Whitmore arrived moments later and tried to save him. But Elias blamed Thomas, knowing the accusation would destroy the Whitmore family and keep anyone from discovering the truth. Cole's revenge had been built on a lie. Clara watched him. "Cole," he looked at her. "I married you because I believed your father murdered my brother." Her eyes filled with tears. "But you didn't." Cole stepped closer. "No." Cole looked down at the wedding ring on her finger. "Because somewhere between the wedding and last night, I stopped seeing your father's daughter." "What did you see?" "The woman who kept standing beside me when she had every reason to leave." Clara's tears fell. Before she could answer, Elias suddenly raised his rifle. "Down!" A bullet tore through the window. Cole pulled Clara to the floor. Another shot struck the wall. "They found us!" Elias shouted. Cole crawled toward the door. "How many?" "Enough." "Clara!" She shook her head. "No. I am done hiding behind men who think they can decide what happens to me." Cole almost smiled. "Then stay close." They moved through the back of the house. Outside, riders surrounded the property. At their center sat a broad man wearing a black coat. Cole recognized him. His uncle, the man everyone had believed dead. Elias stepped beside Cole. "I should have killed him years ago." Cole shook his head. "No. Today, we bring him the truth." The riders advanced. Cole fired into the air. "Samuel Blackwood." The man stopped. Cole held up the letter. "I know what you did." Samuel laughed. "You always were your father's stupidest son." Clara stepped forward. "You murdered your own nephew." Samuel's smile disappeared. "And your mother knew too much." Cole's blood ran cold. "What did you say?" Samuel looked at Clara. "Your mother wasn't supposed to survive that night." Clara froze. Cole moved in front of her. "You killed her?" Samuel shrugged. I finished what I started. For 1 second, Cole looked ready to kill him, but Clara caught his arm. Don't. He turned. Her eyes were filled with tears. If you kill him now, he'll become another ghost between us. Samuel laughed. Then Elias fired. The riders scattered. Cole and Clara stood together as the first snow began falling around them. Cole looked at her. I'm sorry. Clara reached for his hand. You don't have to spend your life punishing yourself for a lie. He squeezed her fingers. I thought revenge would make me whole. And did it? Cole shook his head. No. He looked toward the hills. It was you. Clara smiled through her tears, but neither of them noticed the rider disappearing into the forest. Samuel Blackwood was not alone, and the secret had not yet been revealed. The rider disappeared into the forest. Cole watched the dark trees for several seconds. Something in his chest told him the danger was not over. He was right. By the time they returned to Blackwood Ranch, the first real snow had covered the valley. Winter had arrived early. Clara stood beside the window that evening, watching the storm swallow the road. Cole entered carrying firewood. We need to leave. Clara turned. Why? Samuel escaped. He'll come back. Cole nodded. And next time, he won't come alone. Clara looked at him. Then we face him together. Cole placed the firewood beside the hearth. No, she frowned. You're not sending me away. I married you for revenge. You also married me believing a lie. I know. He walked closer. And now I know something else. What? I can't lose you. The words were barely above a whisper. Clara's expression softened. Then don't. Before Cole could answer, a gunshot erupted outside. The window shattered. Cole pushed Clara to the floor. Stay down! Men shouted outside. Horses thundered across the frozen yard. Samuel had returned. And this time, he had brought an army. Cole grabbed his rifle. Clara reached for the revolver he had taught her to use. They moved toward the back door. There's a tunnel beneath the barn, Cole said. What about you? I'll follow. She grabbed his coat. Don't lie to me. Cole looked into her eyes. I'll follow. They reached the barn as bullets struck the walls. Elias Boone appeared from the shadows. There's another way out through the old creek bed. Cole nodded. Take Clara. Clara immediately shook her head. No. Elias looked at Cole. He won't leave you. I know. Cole stepped toward Clara. Listen to me. No. Clara. She stared at him. He removed his wedding ring. For a moment, she thought he was giving it back. Instead, he placed it in her palm. If I don't make it back, don't. Listen. Her eyes filled with tears. This ring was supposed to remind you of a marriage built on revenge. He closed her fingers around it. I wanted to remind you that somewhere along the way, you became my whole life. Clara kissed him. Then she whispered, Come back. Cole nodded. I will. He turned and ran toward the house. Samuel's men surrounded him. Cole fought his way through the snow, firing only when necessary. He reached the front porch, just as Samuel stepped into the doorway. You could have had everything, Samuel said. Cole raised his rifle. You already took everything. Samuel smiled. Not everything. He pointed toward the barn. Cole turned. One of Samuel's men had found Clara. The man dragged her into the open. Cole lowered his rifle. Let her go. Samuel laughed. Put down your weapon. Cole slowly dropped it. Clara shouted his name. Samuel stepped closer. You married her to destroy her. Cole looked at Clara. No. His voice was calm. I married her because I hated her family. He looked back at Samuel. But I stayed because I loved her. Samuel raised his pistol. Then Elias fired from the barn. The shot struck Samuel's weapon from his hand. Cole tackled him into the snow. They struggled until Samuel pulled a hidden knife. Cole caught his wrist. For several seconds, neither man moved. Then Samuel whispered, You're just like your father. Cole looked at him. No. He released the knife. I won't become you. Samuel was arrested before dawn. By sunrise, the storm had passed. The valley lay beneath a blanket of white. Cole stood on the porch, staring toward the mountains. Clara stepped beside him. You saved my life. He looked at her. You saved mine first. She smiled. Does that mean the revenge marriage is over? Cole reached for her hand. It ended the night I realized I was afraid to lose you. Clara leaned against his shoulder. And what happens now? Cole looked across the frozen ranch. Now we build something neither of our families could destroy. The winter that followed was the hardest Red Creek had seen in years. But inside Blackwood Ranch, there was warmth. There was laughter. And there was a marriage that had begun with hatred but survived because two wounded people finally chose the truth. Years later, people still told the story of the Cowboy King who married a woman for revenge. But they always left out the part that mattered most. Because when winter came, the most feared man in the valley discovered that revenge could never make him brave enough to die for someone. Love could. And Cole Blackwood had finally found the one thing he would protect until his final breath. Her.